Broken words, broken hearts when departed.
Mom passed away when I was just 6 years old, but God has blessed me with a beautiful daughter that looks just like her, whom I will love until I die. And like a Christian soldier, I believe that one day we will meet again. My guest today is Deron Powell.
You try to hide it. I am with you wherever you are. I am with you near or far. Don't you doubt me, child.
Hi, Deron. Welcome to the timeline. So, you lost your mom at a very young age. You were just 6 years old at the time. Would you mind sharing with us what life was like living with your mom during those first 6 years?
Okay, well, I don't really had a life with her. Well, I lived with her, but I can't recall much of that. What I could recall is that she was just a compassionate woman who was hardworking, and I could expect to receive something from her once she was home from work or on her busy day out. Right, so,
And when you say something, like what did she used to bring home for you?
cake, fruits, yeah, basically that.
And what was the nature of your mom's death? So how did she actually die?
Well, she was sick, based on my understanding. Not sure of the sickness because I didn't ask. I didn't choose to ask about it. I was just trying to leave that in the past after going through so much pain with that. I didn't think I want to recap all of that again. So yeah.
And you mentioned her bringing home treats for you and so forth. Was there also anything else that she used to do for you that you miss?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Well, you were in school at that time, and it must have been difficult for you to focus on your studies. So, at the age of 6, did it affect you school-wise?
Well, yes, it did. I was actually just leaving basic school to start primary school. So it was it was a turn in my life, actually. Affected me very big. Seeing that I actually got a nerve breakdown at the death of my mom. And I wasn't focused. I couldn't find a way to stay focused on anything else but on that. So, yeah.
So, was there anyone who you relied on emotionally at that time?
Emotionally. My dad, my sister, my aunts, friends. Yeah.
And professionally at school, was there a guidance counselor or anyone who talked to you about it?
Well, teachers know about it, but I don't remember talking to anybody at school about that. Yeah, I don't remember talking to anybody. I just know that teachers know about it. The first teacher that I met at primary school, she knew about it. So she kind of treated me different from the other students. So yeah, they didn't play the role of a mother, but yeah, they knew about it and they could talk to me when I need somebody to talk to.
And do you remember the teacher's name?
Miss Brown.
From what primary school?
St. Albans Primary.
Okay. And you mentioned you were leaving basic school at the time,
Yes.
just starting primary school. And did you, in your group of friends or anyone else, notice that their mom was still alive, and did that in any way make you jealous, especially on Mother's Day?
Well, yeah, in primary school, I know all my friends' mom. So Actually, one of my friend mom knew that my mom died, and she was actually kind to me in ways of encouragement and so forth. She used to make sure that I'm always okay. Anytime she come at the school, she check up on me and so forth. But then it didn't play the role of my real mom. So yeah, up to this day, I don't really celebrate Mother's Day. And yeah, I'm feeling jealous of them. I think I'm over that.
Okay.
Just glad that, especially when a person treats their mom the way she should be treated. I'm really proud of that person. Seeing that I don't know what it's like exactly to treat a mother how she should be treated, but to see somebody else doing that, yeah.
And is there anything in particular, like a tradition that you may do on Mother's Day, probably to get your mind off it, or just to honor the day or anything like that?
No.
You just don't celebrate Mother's Day?
Don't celebrate.
Okay, understood. And you mentioned you had your sister and your father living with at the time. How did that affect your household? How did her death affect the entire household?
Well, it affected the household because I think it's after my mom got married that everybody split up. So I had 5 siblings, including myself, which I was the fourth of the youngest. So my dad ended up leaving. Me and my younger sister ended up moving over to Spanish Town. My bigger brother moved in with his dad. And my older sister, who wasn't really around much, she ended up leaving to the countryside with her family permanently. So it split up the whole family.
Okay, now we're going to continue on Deron's story, but right now we're upon our first break, so we'll take our first break and we'll be right back.
I was lost in the stress of life, had no hope, no faith in sight. Problems hit me from left to right, but Jesus came and made everything alright. Now I walk in victory, daily trusting His love for me. Overcomer, that's who I am, that's who I am. I am a winner. Oh yeah.
Winner, today I rise.
I am a winner.
Winner, winner, winner.
The Lord is on my side. I am a winner. Oh yeah. A winner, today I rise. I am a winner. Oh yeah. The Lord is on my side. So when dark clouds may come my way, I will not lose faith, I'll stay strong in your unfailing grace. For you are my rock and my hiding place. So don't you worry, don't you fret, God has never failed me yet. He will help you through your test, through your test. Take your hand and say,
I am a winner.
I am a winner, yeah, winner, yeah.
Winner, today I rise.
I'll rise, yeah, you rise, yeah. The Lord is on
Lord is on my side.
so no matter the trouble, He will on.
He walks with me.
With Jesus I have, so I will not fear.
He'll be with me.
My battles are won, so I will press on.
He walks with me.
With Jesus I have, Wave your hand and say, I declare it, I believe it.
Today I rise.
I rise, yeah. You rise, yeah. The Lord
is on my side.
I declare it, believe it, believe it.
Today I rise.
Step out in victory, it is your winning season. Whoa.
Is on my side.
Step out, man, you are a winner.
Welcome back to the timeline. My guest today is Deron Powell, and he has been sharing with us a little about his life surrounding the death of his mom. So, Deron, in your teenage years, you were a member of the JCCF, the Jamaica Combined Cadet Force. Now, in any way, just out of curiosity, did the death of your mom influence this decision in joining that force?
Well, joining the cadet, no, it didn't. From a younger age, I always wanted to be a part of the military. So that was just a way of getting there, right? So I was, before starting high school, I met a friend and he introduced the old JCCF organization to me, and I chose that I was going to go towards that. But in that time I was trying to, I was still living with the death of my mom, but trying to get used to the whole situation and trying to understand the whole thing. So yeah, it was just one of the things that put my mind from it a bit.
Okay. Now you mentioned that there wasn't anyone who could really fulfill that mother role, who could really, put their foot in her shoes, for example. But did your father try to fulfill a motherly role, or did he try to do things that your mother used to do for you?
I wouldn't say try to. I think he played his role. But about the motherly role side of it, no. I don't think a man can ever do that, will ever do that. But playing their role is vital, and he was there 100%. So yeah, he did his part.
Okay, that's good. And you are a Christian, and
Yes,
you
I am.
attend the infamous Church of the Rock congregation. Now, as a Christian, did you ever question God as to why He allowed your mother to go that soon?
Well, first let me say, you started Church on the Rock. Now I'm attending Jesus Way Jamaica. And yes, I had questions, but growing in my faith, I know that death is a must, and I get to understand that there are better places than Earth. My mom was also a Christian, which is a good part of it. So I know that she's at somewhere better, and that God is just doing his thing.
Now, at Church on the Rock, or the current church that you're attending, was there any older female figure that you kind of come to them, or they were just there for you at that time?
Well, I wouldn't say at church, but there were persons in my life who tried to play that role. two mentors, female mentors, who stood up to play the role of a mom for me. And even up to this day, they are still in my life. And also my pastor. Well, my pastor know about those situations of my mom died and so forth. But I wouldn't say she played the role of a mom. She's there as a leader, for me, a spiritual leader. But I don't know if I would say it's the role of a mom, actually. Yeah.
But they basically provided guidance and they
Yes,
were
they do.
basically your mentors.
Yes, they do.
Okay, now Deron has a lot more to share about his story, but right now we'll pause as we go to our Outer Road voice segment.
Hi, my name is Elisa Price, and I want to send greetings to my grandfather and my grandmother, Lasses and Sonia Garden. I am so happy that I got to know you guys because you have been such an inspiration in my life. You have molded me and helped me to become the woman I am today. And growing up with you guys, it was kind of a whole bundle of craziness. But my grandmother was always jovial and she always do some crazy things just to get us to laugh. My grandfather, on the other hand, was kind of more stern and, but in the end it all paid off. And they have been such, as I said, an inspiration. They're the most amazing persons I've ever came across. And I want to send you greetings, know that I love you, I appreciate you.
But Mama Ellie, I don't know she take care of me. She make sure I know some need her meals like every single day. See, I don't know she did it for me and thing. I don't know I'm a grandmother. I love her.
Hello viewers, I want to shout out to the timeline, and also thanking them for having me to share, that I am truly glad that I got the opportunity to meet my grandmother, Elisa Scott. It has been a blessing. I've learned so much from her, because she had a tradition back then, and she passed it on to me, as it relates to cooking, as it relates to motivation, several things in life. And it's a privilege to know my grandmother, right? And I appreciate the opportunity that I had with her. She's still alive. I know that many persons they are not privileged of this opportunity, and I'm truly sorry that you didn't get to meet your grandparents. But when you're in God, we're all family. And if my grandmother, even though she's not your grandmother, we all share the same family bond through God. So even in the church we are one, right? So don't fuss yourself because you didn't get to meet your grandparents. You can come and you can be the grandparents in the future for your children. All right. So with that said, be blessed.
Now, Deron, you have recently become a dad. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, how has that been like for you?
Back to that stage again. Well, it was scary, knowing that I've already set a certain standard that persons look up to me to carry on. And yeah, it was scary to see, but then exciting on the other end, knowing that I have a child. One of the things that I did, actually, I went in prayer to God. First, asking for forgiveness and so forth. And then I asked him that to say, bring this child to look like my mom. Right? And I can clearly say that prayer was answered. Um, so I can just say I have my mom. So I'm just excited that to even see her grow as a young person, to see her coming up, to know that I have persons that I can look up to for encouragement. It's not easy at all, but when I'm in a depressing mood, when I start to think about all the situations that I'm going through, I can turn to other persons to encourage me to just continue the road and to never give up. So yeah.
So what's your daughter like? What's her name? How old is she?
Okay, so her name is Deron Powell. She's 1 year, going 2 in 2 months' time. She's just too smart. I don't know what else to say. She's just too smart. She's quick to learn. She observes a lot. She smiles a lot. She's friendly. Yeah, she's just good.
So sooner or later, Elena may come to you and ask you about her grandma.
Mhm.
Would you be able to talk to her about that?
Well, I'm at the place where I can. Even if she come now, I'm at the place where I can. I already grow a mental stability to know that my mom is gone. Um, I wish I could do something to have her, but there's nothing I can do. So I just have to explain. I just pray that she reach this stage where she can understand everything before she come to me with that question. But then if she do, I just want to can explain everything to her.
So how do you feel when you see your daughter with her mom, especially seeing you mentioned that she looks like your mom? How do you feel when you see them together?
Excited. I don't know. I'm just glad that she have a mom, that she have somebody she can look up to, that she have a female figure in her life. I'm just glad that I didn't walk away, that I stayed and played my part.
So Deron, if your mom was still here, is there anything that you would say to her or would like to say to her? If she was still around right now, especially to, have her grandchild, Elena.
Well, if my mom was still here, I don't think I would have a child. Based on the standard that I know my mom as, she would want me to focus on school first and focus on building my dream first. So I don't think I would have a child. But yeah, there are things that I would want to sit and talk to her about. There are things that I would want to do for her that I don't get a chance to do. To regret that she's gone, I don't think I regret it because it's all in God's plan. It's all in God's timing. And as I said before, I come to the mental state where I just trust that God is just working in His timing. Yes, I'm sad that she's not here, but if she was here, there are things that I want to sit and talk to her about. I think there are a lot of things that she would want to sit me down and talk to me about.
So what would you say to someone who has lost their parent or their parents right now? So I'm just going to ask you to look into the camera and give a word of encouragement to someone who went through a similar situation.
Well, I would say don't lose hope. It's not the end of the tunnel. God is still able. Just still focus on your dreams. They will still be proud of you once you are focused and you know what you want. In everything, there's a time and a season, and God has His plan, right? Yeah, just don't lose hope.
Well, Deron, thanks for coming on the timeline today. I'm sure that just like myself, there are persons out there who were truly moved by your story.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
We've come to the end of our show. If you want to be inspired, join us again next time. This was The Timeline.
God is standing by. So hush, don't you worry, don't cry. God is standing by. So hush, don't you worry, don't cry. God is standing by. So hush, don't you worry, don't cry. God is standing by. So hush, don't you worry.
The Timeline was shot in the community of Denham Town by Shane Mack Production.